What's up, my friends in the film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Gonna take a break from review. I know our plan was to review Runaway Jury, but I think we can put that one on the back burner for now because I feel it necessary to take a minute to remember the life and career of one of my favorite actors, someone who I think we've all seen in movies, and he's done a spectacular job, a spectacular career, a spectacular trajectory that he took. And we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about the life and the career of Val Kilmer. Very unfortunate news that I woke up to Wednesday morning. I know Tex had put something in our chat room about it before he went to bed Tuesday night. But when I woke up, I saw the unfortunate news all over Twitter that Val Kilmer had passed away from pneumonia, not necessarily from the cancer problems he had with his throat, but from pneumonia. Whether those two things had kind of, compounded on the other, I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, he did pass away relatively suddenly. A very, very sad time. So we're going to take some time to kind of remember his life and career tonight. We're joined by our good friend. He stalks New Jersey night in search of his victims, the American Werewolf, New Jersey. What's up, brother?
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me on. Good to see everybody again.
Yeah, once again, we did do the Gene Hackman retrospective, a lot like this one over on his channel. It was a fantastic show. Everybody on that stream was very knowledgeable and wonderful people. So go check that out. Go check out his channel as well. And of course, my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
I was really just hoping it was an April Fool's joke, but unfortunately, not so much. I didn't want to believe it, and I saw Tex's message. I woke up to that, and I was like, no. There's no way. I really hope that's not true.
Yeah.
Came back April 2nd, and, it was still there. So, no, it unfortunately came to be. So, kind of sucks. But, hey, I mean, we've got plenty to talk about with this guy. Like, some really great movies. So, and performances just, in his own right. So, I'm excited to talk about it.
And, of course, the Shade for the Lone Star State, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, it was shocking. We did the show Tuesday, and I, got getting ready for bed, doing whatever, laid down, couldn't sleep. It was like 2 a.m. or whatever. And I just saw a post on X. I'm like, Val Kilmer dead. I'm like, okay, I know what day it is. You're not going to get it. But it kept showing me. So I actually went to look it up, and that's when I shared the article with y'all that I did. Everybody was posting, please say April Fools, and unfortunately, it was not April Fools. So here we are now. It is what it is.
Yeah, but let's take a minute just to talk about. Let me give you a little bit of the background on Val Kilmer, and I'll go around and get your guys' thoughts. And we'll talk about some of his films. Val Kilmer was born on December 31st, New Year's Eve, 1959, in Los Angeles. He's got a couple of brothers and sisters. His parents were not famous; they were just regular people. They actually divorced in 1968 when he was 8 years old. His mother ended up remarrying. And his entire life, his younger brother Wesley, who had epilepsy and drowned in a jacuzzi at age 16, which is very unfortunate. Him and his brothers and friends would constantly they had a video camera and made videos where they would reenact their favorite scenes from movies, wrote and shot some short movies of their own. It seemed like he was predestined to do this. He did attend Chatworth's High School at the same time as Kevin Spacey. I don't know if they knew each other or not, but he was there at the same time. His high school girlfriend was Mare Winningham, a very good actress in her own right. And he became the youngest person to be accepted into Juilliard's drama division, where he was there at, I think, 17 was when he was accepted to Juilliard. And for those of you who don't know anything about Juilliard's drama school, that's some of the greatest actors in history have gone through Juilliard. Christopher Reeves went to Juilliard. It's just insane. Was in a lot of things he actually declined a role in The Outsiders, 1983 film, which is one of the greatest films, my favorite films ever made. Did a lot of Broadway stuff, was close friends with Kevin Bacon, Sean Penn, and Jack Earl Haley as they were coming up in the business. That's not a small list of names right there, a whole lot of success on that list. And eventually got his big break in the early 80s with a lot of comedies, and then it just shot up from there. And I don't have to go too much into his career at that point. I mean, we've all seen, the vast majority of his movies, certainly his top 10 or 15. But, let me start with you, Jeremy. Give me some quick thoughts on the life and career of this great actor.
Yeah, it's pretty insane to think that I think he was also like the youngest person at that time, at least to have been accepted in the Juilliard, which is, as we said, no small feat. So, yeah, it does seem like this guy he just had the gift, had the talent. And it definitely shows in some of these movies that we've seen with this guy from the 80s and especially throughout the 90s when he was real big. Like I said, I know we're going to get into some of those. Like I'm pretty sure I had, when you asked what movies we wanted to do, I'm pretty sure I had that list like just preset on my phone. Like, okay, we got to talk about, Batman, Tombstone, Heat, and just for my own amusement, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, because that's one of the most hilarious cameos, and I'm so glad that he did do that. So, yeah, like I love that he's just kind of, he's even willing to do goofy stuff like that. That he's just kind of a goofball, and I love that. But yeah, I know we want to keep this short, but man, I'm pretty sure we could talk for like the next 4 hours about this.
I'm sure we could do a 24-hour stream talking about one movie or another for a little while because so many of the performances were so good. But I'll go to you. I'll go to you next, Werewolf. Give me some of your quick thoughts on his life and career.
I mean, having grown up in the 80s and 90s, you knew that if you were going to see a Val Kilmer movie, you were going to see something good. He didn't do bad movies. I mean, and he had great range. He could do everything. He was a great character actor. He was a great leading man. He had range all the way from, the early 80s in films like Top Secret, all the way till, maybe 10 or so years later in the 90s, going nose to nose with De Niro and Heat. Doing smaller, more independent films that were still just fantastic. I mean, the guy starred with everybody, held his own with everybody. He's going to be greatly missed. He was one of the best. Unfortunately, he had some health concerns, and that'll take anybody out of it. But it would have been much better if he had a much longer career. It was nice to see him when we finally did for that last time in Top Gun Maverick. That was a real treat. It was a real treat. So at least we got to see him one last time in a famous role, that retaking that role again and modernizing it a bit for where he was at the time. Yeah, he'll be missed.
No, Tex, how about you? Give me some of your thoughts on the life and career of Val Kilmer.
Well, there's we've mentioned a few times on here that kind of the era of the movie star is kind of past. There's 2 or 3, but there's not many. When you think movie star, go back to the 80s and 90s, Val Kilmer's on that list. Kind of like what Werewolf was just talking about. Yeah, he was kind of a big head at times, but he's a movie star. You can't be in that business and not have ego. And I mean, which is why I brought up whenever you were mentioning what movies, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Like, they made a whole documentary about that fiasco. But it was a mess. If you haven't seen Lost Souls, I believe it's called, go watch that. It was gnarly. I mean, it wasn't all Val Kilmer's fault, but I digress. Doc Holliday. That's really all you need to say. He was Iceman. He was Batman. Now, he was Batman in a crappy movie, which he was fine in that movie, but God, bless that film, it needed it. He was just one of those guys that if you saw him on the, box office, you'd go see it. And, it was unfortunate, the cancer that he got, that he was kind of going to a kind of like a resurgence at the time, and then he got the sickness, but, one of the Hollywood legends, man. He'll never be forgotten.
Yeah, I agree. Stuart McQuaid chiming in says Ghost in the Darkness should be mentioned as well. I have a feeling that that's one of many movies that will at least get a mention tonight, and maybe we'll have to work a couple of. I see. He's ready to go.
He's ready right there.
Yeah,
I'll watch it right now. I'll get out of the stream and go watch it.
I love symmetry, and it's sometimes when things come full circle, it adds a little bit of comfort to the bad things in the world. His breakout role, the one that made him a bona fide big star, was playing Iceman in Top Gun, the original Top Gun from 1986. His last film credit was Top Gun Maverick, playing Iceman one more time.
He's ice again.
Very fitting. Very fitting.
There was, and at the time we watched the movie, we know that he had dealt with the illness, but he was still doing fairly well. He was still active. He'd even done, I think right before that, he did that movie Birthday Cake, which I've been wanting to watch, but I haven't been able to get around to yet. But so he was still doing stuff, and he was still, if not active on camera, he was still very active in the public, and still hanging out with his kids and whatnot. But but when I got the news that he passed away, and as I was doing some of the research for this, I was looking at his filmography, and I thought it was very fitting that his first breakout role was in Top Gun, and his final role was as Iceman one more time, and that was the movie that really propelled him into superstardom through the 80s and 90s. And I was like, that I feel like his entire life and career was just one of those things that was just supposed to happen. Like, there's no other way it could have gone. And I'll explain why I think that a little more as we go. But just a terribly talented guy, so many different roles that he was so good at. And he early in his career was in danger of being a bit typecast, but he was very early in his career selective and said, I want roles that are going to challenge me as an actor. And I dig when people say that, because I always said, when I was young and had these dreams about playing professional baseball, I said, I don't want to just go up there and play. I want the best pitchers up there. I want to hit off Greg Maddux. I want to hit off, Jack McDowell. I don't want to just go up there and play. I want the best. Measure me up against the best. Right. Pass or fail, I just want to know. And it seems like he took that same point of view. He was like, give me Morrison, give me John Holmes, but he starts his career in movies like Top Secret and Real Genius. and from one role to the other, he was just so good. And it's like I said, it's terribly, terribly sad that we had to lose him relatively early. Again, illness hits some people, and it's unfortunate, but yeah, very unfortunate. But let's go around real quick. I want to give you guys an opportunity to point out a specific movie of his that stands out to you, and talk about his performance. And I'll start with you, Jeremy. What's a film of his that really jumps out at you as one of his great pieces of work?
I mean, I wonder if my T-shirt choice was jumping out at anybody at some point. Obviously. Yeah, that and a Doc Holliday quote. I didn't want to sweep the rug from anybody, especially Frank, because I know somewhere back there on that little shelf of pops, you've got the Doc Holliday back there.
I do, yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, I could rail on for a long time about, Tombstone.
I've also got a Batman one back there. I don't know if it's necessarily a Batman from his movie.
It's kind of fitting that our best review was the Tombstone review, by the way. So thank you, Val Kilmer. We killed it with the views on that thing. So thank you posthumously.
That's very true. Man, yeah. And I haven't. It's been a minute since I've had like 4.5 hours to talk about Heat. So yeah, I mean, maybe Batman Forever. Yeah, sure. We'll just go with that, I guess. You know what? When I was thinking about this, I'm like, man, we had a lot of Batman in the 90s, which is kind of cool. I guess when you talk about the ones that are in the 90s, like you technically could say Keaton, because I mean, 92's Batman Returns is like
92 Returns, yeah,
one of the best Batman movies, period. My own personal bias, though, is still that The Dark Knight is one of the best movies, period, but also not just a Batman movie. But also in 92, you were eating good with getting Kevin Conroy in there with the animated series. And I know we don't want to talk about it, but I mean, we had Clooney there for a minute, and probably should.
Did we? I don't remember that.
But yeah, it's the car. Chicks dig the car. Or whatever.
I hated that line. I hated that line so much.
Well, he was a good Bruce Wayne.
He was that or the Bruce Wayne.
That was one of my points that I was gonna. I think I heard someone say that before, and I've always held that belief pretty close. That I'm like, yeah, when you talk about Clooney and Kilmer respectively, I'm like, yeah, Clooney can play a pretty good Bruce Wayne. I mean, he can play the suave, like playboy rich guy.
Yeah. He's got to play
good-looking
himself.
Dude. Yeah, I'm like, he's basically himself. Not exactly a great Batman. I mean, as much as I really wanted a Bat credit card as well. I mean, To be fair, I kind of wanted one.
No, fuck that. No, fuck that.
Hey, you
That
never leave the
deserves
cave
rotten
without it.
Fucking hell. Fuck that. I'll take chicks dig the car over the fucking credit card shit. That made me want to kick
Supposed to
puppies.
kill you, dick.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and then on the other side of the coin there is Kilmer. It's like he played an okay Batman. He played a Batman a lot better than he did Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's just like, I'm not saying he's not a good-looking guy and he can play the, the identity of Bruce Wayne, but yeah, he made a pretty good Batman. And I would say between the two, I would still take Batman Forever over Batman and Robin. You camp a little too close to the sun, and that's what happens. And maybe trying to make a movie around the fact that you already made the toys, and you're like, hey, we got to sell these. By the way, you have to make the movie look like this now because we already did that. It's like, guys, come on. But I mean, you also get a great performance out of like Jim Carrey, and you get Tommy Lee Jones trying his best to basically not be Jim Carrey, But man, whatever. I don't know. Maybe just my young impressionable mind that I again grew up watching the animated series. I had seen the Keaton ones beforehand, and I just went through that just knowing, just as a starry-eyed little kid, like, oh my god, Batman's so cool, because that doesn't explain a lot about me now that was and still continues to be my favorite superhero. And obviously Kilmer played a pretty big part in that, as we've seen. So yeah, I don't care. I don't care how campy it gets, how goofy it gets. It's fine. We just didn't bat an eye when Adam West did it, but whatever.
Well,
comical bomb.
Everything was goofy like that in the 60s.
I mean, that is one of the best lines. He's holding that comically large bomb. He's like, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. So stupid, but I love it.
But I don't know. How about you, Werewolf? Again, a long list of movies you could choose from that he is just brilliant in. Give me one movie of his that kind of stands out to you.
I listed a couple on the in the DMs when we talked about this. One of the lesser known ones that people almost never talk about, but I love, is David Mamet's Spartan. And if you haven't seen that, get on it. That is a great film. He's almost like a man with no name, in an era where do you guys know this film? Does anybody know this film first?
I've seen it, but it's been a long time since I have.
I remember the film coming out, but I can't say I've ever seen it.
A president that may or may not be Bill Clinton has removed his daughter's Secret Service protection when he goes to Georgetown to visit her so he can go out and see some women. So his daughter goes out to a bar without any protection, and she gets grabbed. And so they send Val Kilmer out to find her. You're never really sure exactly who he is. There are a lot of people there who never reveal their identity. William H. Macy's in it. I think Ed O'Neill is in it. There's just a bunch of people. Fantastic script. Fantastic performance. I think it's like 2004 or 2007. Love me some Spartan. I own a copy right here. Again, I could break out of the stream right now and just go watch it. It really is that good. Give it a shot. There are other more popular ones that he's done. Obviously the Tombstones, the Batmans, and the Batman. Let me say about the Batman real quick. We forget sometimes what a small club that is. The number of guys who have played Batman. I don't think there's more than 6, maybe 7 in our lifetime in terms of the big screen.
So 6, how do you want to count this? Because we can go back to the black and whites. But
I'm talking about the big screen.
Let's see: Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, Bale, Affleck, and Pattinson. So 6, yeah.
6. It's a small club. Yeah. It's a very small club. But he did a lot of smaller films that weren't blockbusters like this one, that were just fantastic. And I own them. So, I'm a big physical media person. So, I don't have to wait for it to stream somewhere. And I would advise as many people as possible, get yourself in front of the screen and watch Spartan by David Mamet. Fantastic film. A lot of bad guys. A lot of good guys that are supposed to be bad guys. And guess what? They're like at the upper levels of government. So no shock there.
Yeah, I when you texted me that and said you wanted to maybe talk about this movie, I kind of looked it up real quick, and I was like, William H. Macy, okay, I'm down. Derek Luke, okay, I'm down. And I just kind of I'm really surprised that the best picture I could find of it was this one, just like a picture of the DVD cover. I was kind of like, really? There's really not much else on there about it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and maybe try to find this one. I just looked at it. It's only on Hoopla for free. I don't even know what the hell Hoopla streaming service is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'll
I have no idea.
I'll find it.
Right.
I would suggest you do. It's thoroughly enjoyable. And there's action in it, but it's a dialogue film. So you have to listen to what people are saying.
Yeah, I don't know. How about you, Tex? Give me a movie of his that has really stood out to you over the course of his career.
Well, listen, I'm going to bring up Island of Dr. Moreau again, and like I said, this movie the movie itself is fine. I personally find it entertaining. Now it's a shitstorm of a mess. I'm not going to tell you now. At one point, like Brando was going through a divorce, so he just leaves. He just goes to his island. Val Kilmer was brought in after production was already going. You know, we talk about cursed films. This was one of the cursed films of all time. One of the production people had their house struck by lightning 3 times within the production of this one movie alone. I'm not even sure how that's even possible. But this was at the point coming right off of Batman for Val Kilmer. His head had never been bigger. Like he comes in, he immediately wants his workload cut by 40%. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. They have to completely rewrite things. Like famously, there's one part where, and during the filming of this movie, where him and the director are having a confrontation. He just flat out says, actors are in front of the camera, directors are behind it. So basically go away from me. And the director has to walk away, to the point where the director quit and came back hiding under the mask as an extra for this movie. It was a gnarly story if you haven't seen it. Like Val Kilmer just straight up I forget which scene it is, but there's one scene where he's supposed to be standing and moving, and he just refuses to stand up. So he does the whole scene sitting down on the floor during the production. Like he added to the just weird stuff to the costume. Like it really showed now, like I said, this is posthumously looking at it, so we can kind of laugh and joke about it now because he did. But it showed the character that he was. And, when you get into that big Hollywood system, it inflates the ego. And, he was, coming off of, like Jeremy just talked about with Batman Forever, it was a huge movie. Now, it hasn't aged well, but, I mean, hell, I still have the McDonald's glasses from the Batman Forever that, they're like $1 a piece or whatever. I have all 4 of them.
Toys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was crazy. But, Val Kilmer was, going from Batman to Island of Dr. Moreau. I'm not going to say that was his peak because obviously Top Gun was the peak. And then Tombstone, holy shit. I would love to talk about Tombstone right now, but I'm waiting for Frank to talk on that because I know we're all going to talk about that. Holy crap. We can re-review Tombstone right now, and I would not be mad. Just talk about Tombstone again. I'm good. But, Island of Dr. Moreau, it's from 1996. It's if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to see it. It's you may like it. Marlon Brando, he's wacky over the top. I'm sure you've seen the images of him with the lotion all over the face with the white head covering. He has an ice bucket hat in the movie because he was hot. He wanted an ice bucket hat, so he was doing the ice bucket challenge before it was cool, like this or whatever. But yeah, Island of Dr. Moreau is definitely one y'all need to watch if you haven't seen it, and the documentary Lost Souls.
So you're saying he was truly the Iceman?
Very much so. Like Brando would change up accents within the movie because he was going through a divorce at the time. Didn't really care, and he was basically bored. Like if that tells you anything about what happened to that, it is a weird one to watch.
I spent most of yesterday when I was at work kind of listening to different YouTube videos and short podcasts talking about Val Kilmer's life and career. And and I forget which one it was. I'd like to cite him because I thought it was kind of funny when they said it. They said that whole movie was Val Kilmer trying to out diva one of the biggest divas in film history in Marlon Brando.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I was like, damn.
What?
right?
That's the only reason why Kilmer took the project was because he wanted to work with Brando. I mean, hell, he plays Brando's assistant. I think his name is Mitchell in the movie. I can't remember right now, but he plays his assistant. And when Dr. Moreau dies, you see Val Kilmer dressed up like Dr. Moreau with the crap on his face and everything else. So yeah, it's one worth seeing if you haven't watched that one. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. One of the services. I'm sure you can find it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I as I'm sitting here trying to think of like what one movie stands out. I mean, I kind of.
You sure you don't want Tombstone?
Well, I mean, I
He was also Top Gun.
I feel like that's kind of a separate conversation because it's like when people say what are the greatest music videos of all time. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take Thriller out of the conversing because it just kind of runs over everything else. So let's eliminate the easy one and we'll go to one that's actually challenging. I'm gonna go with something that. It was a great performance, one that despite the fact the movie has gotten kind of shit on over the years, I still think his performance is fantastic. And that's Jim Morrison's Doors.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to pick from like 4 or 5 movies where I'm like, this guy is the shit. He's tits on a Ritz.
It's hard. It's hard to choose.
It's not easy to pick one movie of his.
He should have won the Academy Award for this one, though.
Because I'm still like, well, this is still a fantastic movie.
There's a couple of people that think that he's gotten screwed out of an Academy Award for a couple of performances, but I mean, I know Oliver Stone. He's kind of a quirky filmmaker. JFK was kind of his conspiracy theorist wet dream. Even Ray Manzarek, one of the bandmates in The Doors, who was a consultant on this film, did not like the finished product. But all that aside, Morrison's performance in this movie is fucking phenomenal. I liked it a lot because I was really interested in this movie that came out because my dad was a big Doors fan when he was a teenager in his 20s. I became a Doors fan listening to a lot of music with him. The legend of Jim Morrison is something I'd always heard a lot about growing up. So seeing it put on camera was very interesting to me. But how much of it was kind of Oliver Stone being a little quirky about his creative stuff is one thing, but you can't deny this performance. I mean, it is damn good. I always tell people that Heath Ledger. His defining performance for 99% of people is the Joker in Dark Knight. I can't really argue that. But I have always said that there's a movie that I want to review eventually. I'm not in a big hurry to get to it. There's a movie called The Lords of Dogtown. You guys have probably seen it.
Sure, it's a great movie.
I compare Heath Ledger's performance in that movie as Skip Emblem to this performance of Jim Morrison by Val Kilmer. They are that good. They are equal to me. Getting totally lost in a character, getting totally in a real person too. Because Skip Emblem is a guy who is still alive and is still pretty not overly active in the skating community, but I mean he's still a name that is out there. But yeah, I mean his performance in The Doors was. I mean it's you left that movie aghast at what you just saw. Like that, you leave that movie with no words. You don't walk out talking about how great it is. You walk out still processing what you saw from that film. It's so good. And I could have gone with Heat, which to me is one of my of my top 10 films ever made. I mean, maybe not one of the top 10 ever made, but to me personally, it's one of my top 10 favorite films. But I mean, his performance in The Doors was just so damn good. And if you haven't seen it, you really should. Oliver Stone's kind of a unique filmmaker anyway. He's an interesting storyteller. While he can be a little bit scatterbrained, he can take a few odd creative liberties. At the end of the day, the story is just an amazing one. And if you can kind of jive with that and just go with it, especially if you know anything about the history of The Doors, it's a very, very interesting movie to watch. And the performances by everybody in that movie were very, very good, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But Val Kilmer's was next level, and that was one of the first times I remember watching him, and I'm like, good God! I mean, this guy who had always been kind of a bit of a comedic, maybe not a huge actor. I mean, yeah, he had obviously been Iceman at the time, but I'd never really seen him really truly act until this film came out in the 90s, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is something. He is something very, very special.
Fair.
Let me go to Let me go to the chat real quick. A couple of people are talking. Let's see. Stewart said he played Jim Morrison, Elvis, and John Holmes. Not bad for any actor's CV. Yeah,
That's a hell of a resume.
That's another movie that I was going to mention later on was Wonderland. How fantastic that is. Stewart also says that he played Mark Twain. I have not seen any of the stuff of him playing Mark Twain. I know he did like the one-man show that was huge, and he also did a short film. He did a short film in the Mark Twain character that I have not seen yet, but I'm looking forward to finding that. I've heard a lot of people say that was some fantastic work. Stewart also says my favorite line of his from Heat. For me, man, the sun rises and sets with her. That's a great line. That's I mean it's so weird to be in a relationship that is so toxic but to still be in love with that person. That kind of encapsulates that dichotomy. But again, such a great performance all around. Let's see. No, Casey, you can't. No. Casey, we're not going to let you bring your homeless friend in here and talk shit about Val Kilmer.
Well, no, because I know what he's going to do. He's going to be like, yeah, I knew he was going to die, and I killed him. Like, I'll take another notch in my belt.
He's already started the chat because Casey still doesn't understand that joke died 10 years ago.
I'm not even looking at the chat. I'm not giving you that one.
Stewart might be with you. He said he's got all the character posters from Batman Forever and the Batman logo with the question mark, which is actually a pretty dope poster.
Yep.
I was
going to say, something we've always said is some of these posters, like just the simplicity of what they look like, or even just like what the logo does. Like we talked about the '89 Batman. It's just that black poster with it's like that gold, like yellowy orange, just symbol in the middle. It just says Batman. It's like you don't need much more than that. And some of those logo choices are pretty damn cool. And to be fair, the one with the Riddler. I almost said Riddler trophy because I'm still scarred by that bullshit. But it is
as much as
I want to punch that fucker in the face.
As much as I crap on I crap on it now. The whole floating head poster because that's all we get anymore. The floating head poster from Batman Forever was kind of one of the first times it was really huge because you had like Batman in the middle and you had like Two-Face, Riddler, Robin. You had all of them kind of corresponding around, and as a child going into the theater to see that, you wanted to see that. Like, oh my God, that is amazing. Like that, the film itself is hot garbage. Like, it has some redeeming factors, not many. 90s Batman was rough, after Returns. But, I brought up the glasses. Like, I made my mother go to McDonald's like 10 times to get all 4 of these cups. These are straight up glass mugs. I wish I had gotten them out for the review, but they're straight up like you could like beat somebody in the head with them. They were solid. But there was,
I wish I still had stuff from my old setup because I had if anyone remembers, I had just a little corner shelf like right behind me, and pretty much 98% of it was all just Batman stuff that I had, like Pops.
Yeah.
I had a replica '89 Batarang on it, and I had all kinds.
Actually, hang on. There is one thing I can do for him. Y'all keep talking.
Okay, but that's what my little Batman corner was all about. I wish I had that up right now, but I don't currently have it yet.
Well, we're moving along pretty good. Let's go one more round, and I'll let you guys bring up another movie of his that sticks out to you guys. I'll go back to you, Jeremy. What's another film, another performance of his that jumps out at you as one that you really liked?
Oh, damn it! Well, because as we were sitting here, you were saying it's like Lord's Dogtown, and then you got The Doors. I'm like, and in my head I went, okay, so Tombstone is definitely his Dark Knight. Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Come on, man. Okay, fine. If we're not going to talk about it, we got to talk about Doc Holliday. Like, oh my good God. Like, just not even just him alone. Like, this movie, I know, like, we said we reviewed it. It was one of our best reviews. And, I mean, to be fair, what better movie could we have asked for it? I know we always crap on the whole, like, yeah, the OK Corral wasn't really that big of a damn deal. You know that, right? It lasted about 3 seconds. But, I mean, you don't even care. Like, this whole movie, I mean, it gets to that point, the thing happens, and, but the more important part of it is, like, you got all the Earp brothers coming in here after, they're already well known for, what they do, and obviously, what better friend could you ask for than someone like Doc Holliday? And him, man, I don't know, him playing that character and playing him when he's clinging to life the whole fucking movie, basically, man. Like, I know that's the joke. That's my line where he's talking to Johnny Ringo like, "Not me. I'm in my prime." Like the amount of confidence when he's just pouring fucking sweat.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like I just walked on your grave. I love it.
Over your grave. Right. Oh man, you're Daisy if you do. Come on.
He's slinging the coffee cup around, just
I was like,
fucking
right,
with him.
slinging the cup.
Oh, it's just great. Oh, it's so
Like, he's such an arrogant dick, and I love it. Which I guess, as we were saying, I'm like, yeah, kind of fits it. I mean, he knows what he's about. And I've seen a few things. Obviously, now the internet's just rife with clips from movies that he's done. I'm gonna jump back in the Top Gun for a second. I did not see Maverick because I'm like, my hatred for movies that come out 50 years too fucking late.
Oh my!
But all I saw was a clip of him and Tom Cruise when he gives him a hug. He's like, "Thanks, Ice. Like, thanks for everything." And he's like, or he says like the Navy still needs Maverick.
Dude, I will tell you right now that movie is 100% worth watching it just for that scene.
I mean, for that scene. I hate to just say now I hate that it'd be because he passed away, but I'm like, I just saw that little exchange like on a clip, and I was like, God damn, I haven't even seen this movie, and I'm like, that made me fucking emotional. Like just that. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I am being a little too harsh. Maybe it is, because you guys have done nothing but praise it, and maybe it is one of those exceptions that it is in fact a movie that still is fantastic.
It's a perfect film.
Years.
It's a perfect film.
Top Gun Maverick is as good as Top Gun is, and I will fight anybody who thinks otherwise.
It's way better than the original. It's way better than the original.
I like it. I like it.
We talked a lot over the years about what are great sequels. We talked about Terminator 2 and Aliens. I said very clearly I think Top Gun Maverick is up there with those as great sequels. I actually maybe even put it a little bit ahead of Aliens because Aliens turned it into more of a sci-fi action and kind of got away from the great horror elements of the first film. So I put it slightly ahead of Aliens, but it's in the conversation for sure. It's one of the greatest sequels ever.
I haven't watched the original in a long time, but I don't remember being that. I remember it catching on and it being big, and I own a copy on Blu-ray, but I don't know. I haven't watched the original in a really long time. I have a distinct feeling if I watch it again, it's not going to hold up. But that second movie is perfect. It's perfect.
I mean, I'll take your guys' word for it. Maybe I'll stop being a dick and I'll give it a chance.
One thing Top Gun Maverick has, my fellow Texan, one of my yeehaw people, the great Glenn Powell. So let's get this shit going, buddy. So it's all good.
Casey says Top Gun Maverick is 1A and 1B. They could be interchangeable. I mean, kind of. They're the same movie but different.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all, it doesn't really have anything to do with real world anything. It's just good guys, bad guys. They don't even name the bad guys in the second one.
Well,
they don't even name the bad guys. It's like good guys against bad guys. Go. And of course it's all high flying adrenaline stuff.
And it seems like it lends itself to the fact that this was made now. And a lot of it can be prettied up and made a lot cooler. And we know that Tom Cruise is a fucking maniac. It's like, he actually flies these jets. He does all this stuff for real. It's like, so it's probably a little more, not meaningful. What am I trying to say? Like, maybe it gives you more, of that adrenaline when you're watching this happen. Cause you're like, oh, this is actually, they're doing this. It's not 80s montages and Kenny Loggins and jet planes. So, very, very.
Highway to the danger zone, man.
And also, I will say that is a banger of a soundtrack. Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
Can we just Top Gun's soundtrack?
If you don't want to just start doing push-ups when you just get that, I just want to start fighting people. I'm like, all right, well, let's if I ever join UFC, that will be considered as my walkout song. Because it's like, all right, we're about to mess somebody up. Like, this thing's about to go down. So, just great guitar.
I remember.
Just make your wrestler name Mighty Wings from the top rope.
Yeah.
I remember they did an interview with Kenny Loggins as Top Gun Maverick was getting ready to come out, and somebody had asked him, they're like, did Tom Cruise ask you to re-record Danger Zone? He goes, yeah, we went into, he says, he called me and said, I want a newer, updated version of it for this movie. And he was like, fantastic. I'll totally do it. I had a great experience doing it for you in the 80s. And then he made an updated version. And then Tom Cruise listened to it. He's like, it's really good. He's like, but God, it's not the original. We're just going to use the original. And so they use the original song.
Yeah, you're not going to get any better. Yeah,
you can't beat that. I mean.
And the best thing about it, not to give away any spoilers, is that they got rid of it within the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like they played it like right away, and then you just moved off into a new story.
That's kind of where that's where the song fits, though. As you're going through all those visuals of like them like doing the test and testing the flight surfaces of the airplane, and the quick jump cuts to all the craziness of an aircraft carrier and all the busy stuff going on. That's kind of where that's the best place to put that song in the movie. So it makes sense. So one way or another, I was just glad that they stuck with the original version. I was like, something.
It's not even just that though. When it comes to Top Gun Maverick, like think about when this came out. Like obviously we're coming out of lockdowns and pandemic now. It was worse for others than some, but a lot of people just had not gone back to the movies. People flocked to go see Top Gun Maverick in theater. Like it was a huge financial success as well because. Like this one movie alone proved that people are still willing to go see and pay to see a movie. Like, for a long time, it was iffy there, but Top Gun Maverick did a lot to help try and save theaters, which they're still in trouble, but, it did all it could. So
I'm still going to say it. The pandemic screwed the movie Tenet. It's still a great movie. Fuck you if you don't believe me.
Oh, there's a lot of movies that were very badly affected.
I got bored as shit, but it wasn't.
I like Tenet. I own a copy.
Yeah, when people talk about like Inception, they're like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm like, it's literally the easiest. I watched it and I was like,
I also think Inception's overrated too, but I'm in the minority.
It kind of was. However, I was like, when I saw it finally, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I'm like, I get it though. I'm following this quite well. I don't know why their minds were just blown. I was like, no, you want to have your mind like shattered, like try to understand Tenet. I was like, that broke my brain. I loved it.
But let's go to American Werewolf again. Give me another movie that stands out to you from Val Kilmer's illustrious career.
Yeah, I kind of stole two of them.
I would go with one of his early on flicks, Thunderheart. I loved Thunderheart. I got a nice copy right there. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. Another fantastic film where he's an FBI agent with a Native American background, American Indian background that he's ashamed of. So he gets sent down to the reservations to help solve a murder because he does have that background. And it's got a great cast, Graham Greene, Fred Ward. It's a really good mystery. Sam Shepard. Good shit, man. Good shit. Another one of those movies that came out in the early 90s. Probably riding the success of, the Top Gun and, doing his leading man thing. Damn good movie.
Yeah, seeing Graham Greene on screen always makes me happy. He's one of the character actors I've always loved to watch.
And that's coming right off the success of Dances with Wolves. So everybody knew who Graham Greene was.
Yeah. Jeremy knows Graham Greene. He was the guy with him and his wife were in they were The Last of Us season 1. There was a family they came across, the husband and wife. That's Graham Greene. I've seen him in so many. It's like I never know what movie he's going to be in, but when he pops up, I see him I'm like, oh, he's in it. Okay, that's good. I feel comfortable sitting in this theater now because he's there. Yeah, that's a movie I haven't seen it since probably it came out. And as I was going through all these movies of his, I was just like, this is one that I feel like I need to go back to when I get a chance because I remember watching these movies and liking them, but when that came out, I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, somewhere like that. Life was busy because I was doing unimportant shit, chasing tail and working and drinking and doing stupid stuff. But so yeah, I think it's just so far away in time that I don't remember too much about it, except for maybe little bits of the plot. But yeah, as I was going through his list of movies, I was like, there's like 5 or 6 of these I need to go back and watch from the early midpoint of his career to really take them in again. Tex, how about you? Give me another Val Kilmer film that has stood out to you over the years.
Well, since Jeremy didn't bring it up, I'll bring it up just so we can talk about it. That's the Jay and the Silent Bob reboot. That
We were gonna get there.
He only. Oh, I know, but I wanted to talk about this as well. I mean, getting to play in one of the I hate skinny Kevin Smith. I love fat Kevin Smith. I like his older stuff, but getting to see Val Kilmer as Blunt Man and Chronic there, it was just so fitting. Like to get a Batman to play that role. I mean, a fucking course. I mean, Jesus Christ, the hat alone is worth bringing it up. And now, Jay and Silent Bob the reboot, not a great movie. It's the typical thing of, well, we're going to take the old story and flip it on its head, and this time it's about girls, and we're going to put a little heart in it. That's basically the movie with some really cool cameos out there. But
that was the joke.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
That was the self-aware joke that they were making.
Yeah, it was. I remember I didn't catch the rebooted version in theater. I saw it on some VOD somewhere. I forget where I saw it, but I did not expect to see Val Kilmer in that role. I mean, yeah, we had like Mark Hamill as Cockknocker in the first one, so they had to do something on that level in this film. And, they had Affleck playing Ben Affleck in Jay and Silent Bob the reboot. So go get another Batman. So, it was cool to see Kilmer. Once again, he's, with the throat cancer thing, he wasn't speaking like that or anything else. But
he didn't need to.
He didn't need to say anything. It was, his presence alone brought everything it needed to. And to be so irreverent and literally poking it in the nose, I thought was great to see him in that Smith verse of movies or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name right now. It was cool to see. Technically, one more time he put on the cowl just without the faceplate, so he's got the ears on the hat. So it's fine.
But yeah, like as a character who's a joke off of Batman, having somebody who played Batman play him is one of the funniest goddamn things
so
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But in meta, what Kevin Smith does, what fits in just right. Did you guys?
Right.
I don't know if you guys saw or not. I guess one of the last things that Val Kilmer put on Instagram.
He put on his helmet.
Is that somebody had made like a Batman cowl that had like different colors or something on it, and him and his son were sitting there fucking around, and he put it on, and he kind of like gets real close to the camera and looks into it,
like,
and I think he even lipped the words "I'm
That's
Batman"
cool.
or something like that. But I'm not bringing this up in my next movie, but I think it's funny that Tech says he didn't see him doing something so funny. Clearly, you have not seen the first two big movies that Val Kilmer did. One of them was this one. This absolute.
I can't say I've seen that one. No,
Great,
I
great
haven't seen that one.
Have you seen Airplane?
Oh my god!
Have you seen Airplane?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Of
course.
That movie was made by the guys that did Airplane, the Zucker brothers, and it's basically.
Is there anybody who hasn't seen Airplane? Like that's a must see.
There's probably one or two people. I don't know. The movie came out like 80 or 81, but it's a spoof. It's a put up of all the spy drama movies from the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
And he plays this kind of like Elvis Presley type character. He's an American singer, kind of like the Beach Boys, but not in a band. And he goes to Europe to perform in this thing and gets wrapped up in some crazy spy shit. It's hilarious. Ironically enough, do you know who else was in that movie? Who played Nicholas Flamel, the doctor? I think that was his name. Was the guy who would go on to play Alfred in all the Batman movies, including the one that Val Kilmer was in.
Alfred Go.
Yeah.
Michael Go. Yeah.
Michael Gow.
Gal. I can never say his name. It was one of those. Yeah. Michael Go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a goofy, funny, stupid movie. Like it's Airplane. It's Airplane.
It's hysterical.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when the guy
I'll
falls
have
off
to
the
check
top of
that
the
out.
castle,
I've never seen that.
breaks like he's plaster. I was like, are you kidding me? How do you not laugh at some of the stupid shit? It's like if Family Guy would have come out 30 years earlier, it probably would have looked a lot like this. But and again, I don't know. I don't know what movie of his to pick that it stands out. I mean, they're all just so damn good. We'll have a little bit of a discussion about the Doc Holliday character after this. But one that I want to point out, Wonderland. I don't know if you guys saw this movie or not. It's great.
I haven't seen that one.
Well, have you seen Boogie Nights with Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg? Okay.
Mark Wahlberg, yeah.
Boogie Nights is loosely based on the life of John Holmes,
John Holmes, yeah.
an
Oh,
adult.
and the Wonderland murders. Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
that scene with
Okay.
that scene with Alfred Molina in that movie is loosely based on the Wonderland incident. This movie is a direct representation of the Wonderland incident, John Holmes's role in it, what exactly happens, a little bit of the aftermath, the people involved. It concentrates on that particular incident, that particular point in John Holmes's life. And again, great performances all around. Val Kilmer, I mean, it's just one of those roles that I think a lot of guys could have fucked up, and he just made it look so easy. He was just so good, so smooth. Again, somebody who, I mean, when you get lost in roles, when you put that much thought behind what you're going to be doing in front of the camera, it's really easy to put out great performances. And if you're and you know, with the crime stuff seeing this crazy resurgence the last 5 to 10 years, if you don't go back 15 years to watch this movie, I forget exactly when it came out. When did that come out? I clicked on the wrong thing.
Early 2000s, right?
2003.
I say early 2000s, I think.
2003. Yeah. But yeah, it's a fantastic film, loaded with a lot of really good actors. Paul Rubens is in it. He plays the guy who was at the Wonderland. That was his house. He was the club owner. I forget. I haven't seen it in a while. But Paul Rubens is in it. I mean, it's loaded with some really great actors, some really great performances, and Val Kilmer is damn good in it. So it's a fantastic movie. Again, if you liked Boogie Nights was a very loose portrayal of the life of John Holmes. So go watch this for a real accurate portrayal of that time period in John Holmes' life. It's a fantastic movie. I couldn't watch it enough. I can't talk it up enough. It really is really awesome. But I mean, let's talk about his defining performance. I think
one of the defining performances ever, I would say.
I think when you say when you ask most real film fans, you say over from 1980 on, if you've watched a lot of movies from that time period, not going back too far, but from like 1980 on, what is one of the performances that has just blown you away? If you ask 100 people, at least 70 of them are going to say, "Oh yeah, Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday." There is something. Yeah. There is something unique about this that I can't even put my finger on. I don't know how to put it in words. And I don't know if it was just his process. I don't know if it was just the way. Look, sometimes things just come together on a movie set. Like you never know if something's going to end up being timeless, like The Wizard of Oz or something like that. You're just trying to make a good movie that's entertaining. You never know how things are going to last. This movie has lasted the test of time in so many ways. His performance has lasted the test of time in so many ways. And yes, a lot of people think that he absolutely got screwed out of an Oscar nomination, and even an Oscar for this.
At least
some people think he should have won the Oscar that year for this performance, but somehow didn't get nominated. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. We've already discussed the movie. We've done our breakdown of it. You guys can go look at that. It wasn't all that long ago. It was several months ago. But we've talked already about his performance. But I mean, let's take a few more minutes to kind of break it down. I mean, to you. I mean, where would you rank this amongst some of the best individual performances that you've ever seen in a film?
Man, because we've talked about that before, like, yeah, you've got Kurt Russell, yes, you've got Sam Elliott, you've got Bill Paxton, and obviously Val Kilmer, but it's like, the focus is kind of Wyatt Earp with Kurt Russell, but it's like, man, he just runs away with this movie sometimes. Like every time he's on screen, you're just kind of excited to see him. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter what he's gonna do. Like again, if he's gonna flip a cup around in Michael Bihn's face, or is he just walk out the street with a gun behind his back, or is like, oh, I got two of them, one for each of you. Goofy shit like that, right? Like that one. That's a character, like I said, that's stands out not only in this movie, even if you ask, like you said, you ask something that stands out in these last 30 some years of movies, you can just even narrow it down to westerns. You're like, oh no, we're gonna talk about Tombstone because we're gonna talk about Val Kilmer. You know what I mean? I think we did think about like what's some of your favorite westerns. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that, because you can't really have that conversation with
this one's my favorite.
Yeah, it's man, it's up there for sure. And when I was talking about this, is some of the clips I saw circulating around right now. It was the final scene when he's in bed, and I mean that TV is taking a hold of him, and he's just telling him like, "Live for me, just promise me that, just live for me." It's like, if you're, just get out of here, man. Like, and he just turns to me and says like, "Well, thanks for always being there, Doc." And I was like, God damn, that still hits. And I love that he even still gives it a little, like, he just goes like, "Oh, that feels like," like he's just dying. Like, my God. And it holds for me because I wish I could have found it. I was trying to find the picture of it. I don't know who I sent it to, but if it doesn't say anything, when I played Red Dead Redemption 2, absolutely one of the first things I did is I made that outfit with the red vest and the hat. I did the little mustache and the little soul patch there.
Goatee.
Yeah, like I absolutely made a full-on Doc Holliday outfit to run around in a video game. I'm like, because it's just that damn cool. I'm like, I have to. Come on. Say when.
Say when.
Say when.
I'm trying to look at his awards and nominations, but I know that this part of his Wikipedia won't necessarily talk about the fact that he was kind of screwed. I'm looking at his.
We know in our hearts he won.
I'm looking at his awards and nominations, and I'm like, damn, this list is awfully short. I mean,
criminally short.
1991 nominated for Best Actor for the Chicago Film Critics Association for The Doors. Critics' Choice Documentary Awards. That's different. That was for the documentary. I'll talk about that in a minute. The Doors nominated for some stuff. Tombstone nominated. These are all MTV Movie Awards. The Doors got nominated in 91. Tombstone in 93. Nominated in 95. Most Desirable Male for Batman Forever and for Heat.
Nice.
And then Best Villain for MacGruber. I actually totally forgot he was in that movie.
Oh,
and then
I forgot he was in MacGruber. Oh, yeah.
Right. And then won the Satellite Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, another great movie that I just got reminded of how good it was. And the Humanitarian Awards for Satellite Awards that year. And then Saturn Awards in 95 and 2005 for Best Supporting Actor for Heat and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But didn't win a lot of these. I'm seriously, I'm looking at this and I'm like, how the hell was this guy not nominated for a fucking Oscar? I mean, I'm looking through this shit and I'm like, dude, Heat. Like I said, it's one of my top films ever made. The Doors, one of the top films ever made. Look, Island of Dr. Moreau, for all of its troubles, I think should have gotten at least a little bit of Oscar talk. Salt and Sea is one. I actually just read something yesterday. Vincent D'Onofrio, who starred with him in that movie, it was quoted as saying, he's like, Salt and Sea is his best work that nobody knows about. So I'm going to have to find that movie and watch it, because he said he was just fantastic to work with, that he was amazing. Let's see, again, Wonderland, a fantastic movie. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Deja Vu was pretty good, only he wasn't really in that movie a whole lot. He was very much
Here's the thing, he never starred in movies that fall into that award category very much. He might have done, fun movies that we liked, but he didn't get into that upper level cinema unless it's like Michael Mann's Heat, a little bit towards, he might have broached it a little bit with Oliver Stone. It doesn't fall into that kind of category. It just, for better or for worse, whether you're thinking, awards criteria should be broadened, or something like that. They weren't those types of films. They weren't Jean-Claude Van Damme films. I mean, don't fucking misunderstand me. But they were better than they were better than that. They're not Jason Statham. Yeah. He's better than the modern. He's not the like the precursor to Jason Statham. He's got more ability than that.
But he's not Steven Seagal levels here.
Right. But he's not. They just weren't those types of movies.
But
they just weren't.
But one of the things that doesn't sit well with me is like, he got away from doing those kinds of things the last part of his career, but that was about the time that the Oscar people, and don't get me wrong, I think the Oscars are completely fucking useless these days. I don't think they do what they are intended to do. But
they don't mean anything anymore. Like awards themselves mean nothing.
all the Oscars are now is you get one of those in your resume and you can negotiate a higher rate for your next movie. That's all it is now. It's just something
when you can put Oscar-winning actor or actress for your next movie.
Even
like,
Oscar nominated, that's something that you can say, okay, I just
They
got
still
nominated for
do
Oscar,
that.
now I want another $5 million to film. But I mean, all the stuff that he did, most of the stuff he did for the second half of his career was all really artistically driven stuff. He was doing it to be a real actor and not necessarily to do a $1 billion film or to win a bunch of awards. And that's kind of what the Oscars have always tried to push their awards to, is the more artsy stuff rather than the stuff that is actually good. I did a video, me and Aaron did a video a long time ago about how the Oscars are completely fucking useless. And how, and I came with numbers and receipts about one year where, I think it was Force Awakens had pretty much dwarfed all, I think 5 or 6 of the Oscar nominated films that year in every possible measurable stat, but for some reason didn't get any nominations other than like the technical stuff that a lot of sci-fi stuff gets.
It's because it's a terrible movie.
Well,
it was
it's because the Oscar people don't
I could have told you that.
movies to win. No, it's because it's because the Oscar
agree
people
completely.
are biased. The Oscar voters and the Academy is biased against some of the blockbuster movies.
Yeah, because
I swear the only reason Black Panther got nominated is because they didn't want to look racist. I will die.
That's literally all it was.
And it was a good
probably.
movie. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, I think they just it's all for show for them. That's why I think that the entire Oscar thing is useless now. But how does he have some of these roles when he had them? I mean, because he did. Let me go back to the top where I was at. Tombstone, 1993. They were still giving a lot of the bigger budget, big name blockbuster stuff awards back then. True Romance, even. I mean, it was kind of a small role for True Romance. Maybe not that, but I mean, Heat, 1995. They were still giving movies like Heat a lot of Oscar love back then. He didn't get any, and I don't know if it was it Heat. Let me look real quick to make sure. Awards and stuff. Let me look. There was one movie that he did. It may not have been Heat. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was Tombstone.
Wasn't The Ghost in the Darkness? That's a great movie.
There was one movie that he did. I forget exactly what it was. Maybe it wasn't this one either. I hopefully I'll find it before we're done with this stream, so I can use it as the example of why the Oscars suck. But like, it got nominated for Best Picture and Best Actor for whoever else he was in it with. And like 3 or 4 other of the more significant Oscars, but he didn't get nominated, despite the fact that he kind of stole that movie as well. I forget what movie it was. I wish I could find it. I know.
And now I'm kind of curious. Hold on. Hold on, my IMDb.
I could have sworn it was either Heat or Tombstone. Maybe it's something I forget. But yeah,
I gotta tell you, I got a hot take. I don't know if I wanted to get into this, but no, it's all right. I'll pass. That's all right.
Throw it out there.
I don't think Tombstone is that great of a movie.
What?
I will.
You're crazy.
It's a wildly entertaining movie. It is not.
I think it's a spaghetti western.
It's pretty much. I'll
It's a
accept
spaghetti western. They're riding at the end and.
Well, we talked about it when we did the review. That movie was so historically inaccurate that it got the movie producers sued.
Yeah.
It is not.
Like,
yeah.
Who gives a shit?
The Clanton family sued Paramount for defamation and won because that movie was so historically inaccurate.
Right.
And the irony is the person from the Clanton family that was like the head of the lawsuit. I saw a picture of him once. He looked dead ass like Val Kilmer in the movie. A tall, lanky guy, all black with a fucking hat, looked dead ass like Val Kilmer from the movie. And that was was Ike Clanton's relative, who I think is still alive today. Who actually, him and his family filed a lawsuit against Universal or Paramount, whoever did the movie, for defamation, and they actually ended up settling just to get done with it.
It's not a terrible movie or anything, and you've got a great cast, and it's the story, and you've got good antagonists, and Kilmer plays a good part. Sort of providing the tension breaker because it's just such a fucked up story. People are just killing each other, and Bill Paxton gets killed, and next thing they're all gunning each other out, and behind that shed of the the OK Corral and all this stuff. But it's I mean, like at the end of the movie, they're like riding in slow motion and shaking hands, and I'm like, oh god, like really? Okay. It's entertaining. It's a very entertaining movie, but it's not like this, it's not Lawrence of Arabia or something like that. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Braveheart's fun, but it's also like horrifically inaccurate.
Yeah.
But I mean, sure, put some fucking face paint on Mel Gibson, let him scream, they won't take our freedom. I'm like, yeah, but okay.
Well, it was a great movie with him, though, with Val Kilmer. I don't know if anybody saw it, The Prince of Egypt, where he did the voice narration.
He did the voice, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was that's a fantastic film. Prince of Egypt, man. Yeah, that was another one.
Good one.
That was another one.
Animation's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a very cool looking movie.
Yeah, can we also show a little bit of love for a movie that it got turned into a legacy series sequel on Disney Plus and absolutely just bombed.
Willow.
But the movie is phenomenal. This is one of my favorite. I've never been big on the sword and shield and fantasy stuff.
I haven't either.
But this is a movie that from my childhood has been one of my favorite movies to watch. And in large part because he is so electrifying on scrn. It's like that
streaming show was so bad, Disney got rid of it. They knew it was shit.
I never even watched it. I watched the entire series except for the last episode because I got busy at work and I couldn't watch it the day it dropped. Before I had a chance to sit and watch the last episode, Disney pulled that shit off Disney Plus and yanked it. So I never got a chance to watch the last episode.
I don't think you're missing.
And I have not shed a single fucking tear over that fact.
I was like, you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
I think I watched I did watch the first one, the first episode, but I remember nothing about it, and I never went back. I'm like, oh, okay, that happened. Anyways, look, squirrel, over here, and I'm gone. So whatever. I'm good.
I wanted to make a meme out of it from that little scene in Fanboys where they go into that room. It's got all the Star Wars and Indiana Jones stuff in there, and then Duke is always like, look, they got Willow's spell book, and they're all like, well, he's like, Willow, little guy. And dude's over there swinging a lightsaber. He's like, who cares about Willow? He's just swinging a lightsaber, just having the time of his life.
That's an interesting point. I mean, you mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, if Raiders of the Lost Ark didn't get an Academy Award, nothing Val Kilmer was doing was going to get an Academy Award. Like, it's not going to happen. Sorry, hold on.
The Oscars have gotten so dumb. Half those awards are paid for anyway.
Who won they run campaigns. They run like paid campaigns to try to push these movies to get the nomination. And I think I saw something recently that said, I think one of the judges admitted like he or she didn't even watch the movies that he was supposed to view for the nominations, the award. He's like, I didn't watch those. Yeah, you're like, okay.
Well, you can't be the measuring stick of movies of these are the best ones if you don't even recognize all categories of films. They just completely ignore horror. Everyone, once a decade, they'll bring up one or two action movies. Yeah, horror should have, best scary film, whatever. You can't be the measuring stick of films unless you cover all film, and they don't. They just don't do it on so many levels.
The problem with horror is that they take pride. The vast majority of the audience takes pride in just watching these shitty movies. So they just want more shitty movies.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, yeah.
Then when something good actually comes out, the horror community fucking shuns it. So the horror community is like their own worst enemy when it comes to awards. We are. An actual good movie.
We are the punk rock of we're like the punk rock of crowd of we're just chaos. Hell, look at what's on my wall. I've got more shit over here I can tell you. It's not. It's
that's not helping your argument. Yeah, that poster is not helping your argument for an Oscar.
Right. No. I can testify to literally everything you're saying. You're not wrong. But it's
right. Just out of frame. What's sitting on my wall? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. There you go. That's what I'm saying.
I like the Devil's Rejects as much as everybody else, but I'm just saying,
Hey, Captain Spaulding is my biological father. I swear to God. It's all good.
I'm not waiting for it. I'm not waiting for an Oscar nod in February. It's just like I'm gonna go.
If we could get Rob no, Damien Leone deserves the Oscar. By God, if they don't give it to him, they're racist. I'm calling it out right now. They don't like Italians if they don't give him the Oscar for Best Director.
You can't even get horror fans to watch an Eggers film. So how the fuck are they
Yeah,
possibly going to win a fucking Oscar? They won't even.
Well,
support
Eggers is hit or miss on certain things, but he killed it with Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I always say, like, when I sound like a pretentious prick when I say, like, oh, I'm an actor. I'm like, well, I'm a haunt actor. I'm like, it's kind of like the schlockiest of being an actor. I'm like, yeah, like being a haunt or a horror actor. I'm like, yeah, I swim around in blood and guts and shit for fun. So, I mean,
I'm a gorehound horror snob, and I don't give a shit what anybody. Take your elevated crap. Give me blood, gut. I will watch 15 of the worst. I've seen all of them. I've seen them. You're completely correct on what you said. So, you know, it's all
I'm my
good.
own worst enemy too, though, because I'm just so hypercritical of myself. I'm like, when I act, I'm like, God,
Go-
is that right? Did I step too
Go
far?
back a couple weeks ago when we did the new show, and I'm over here bitching and screaming because I'm not getting Saw 11. I want more Saw movies, damn it! Like I'm the problem here because I keep seeing these things 5 times a piece.
Yes, you are.
I think the problem with that is I'm like, if they hadn't told you, I think the only problem with that is if they hadn't said that to you and then said, no, we're not doing it now.
Right.
You would have never fucking known.
If they had never said it, I would have been fine. But you teased me. Don't tease me, Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, a fun little fact that I realized as I was doing some research of this. You know, he not only played Doc Holliday in Tombstone, but he played an older version of Wyatt Earp.
Really?
He played in. God damn, I just had it right here. Where was it at?
Was it no?
In the movie called Wyatt Earp's Revenge, it was a direct-to-video that came out in 2012, starring Trace Adkins. Apparently, he country music wasn't good enough.
Interesting.
But he played the older version of Wyatt.
Yeah, Trace Adkins has been low-budget acting for a while now.
That's interesting.
Well, the country music world kind of forgot about Trace Adkins because he made actual country music, not this weird rap blend nonsense. So he kind of got moved on from. So he started making movies. Like he did he was in that the Lincoln Lawyer with McConaughey. He plays a biker in that one. He's done a lot of smaller roles in movies.
Who is the guy who starred in 1883? That guy was a country star.
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
No,
Yeah.
Good.
I actually just started watching that series the other day.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But it's trauma porn, man. I'm telling you now.
I just finished Yellowstone a couple of days ago, and I started watching 1883.
It's really fucking good.
They are filming. There's a Amazon fulfillment warehouse not too far from where I live that's used for filming for that show. Like I could drive not far and be where Taylor Sheridan is filming that show. Crazy, dude. It's awesome.
Well, he's that new season of 1923 has dropped, and like it's really fucking good. It's good.
I heard the second season wasn't as good as the first, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's as trauma pointy as every episode is. I mean, nothing good ever happens to anybody.
I think that's kind of what that whole series is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not just talking about that particular series. I mean the whole
Yellowstone-based
series. Because it's like I said, I just finished watching Yellowstone, and I'm like, this whole thing is just like really over the top, excessive drama. And then as I'm like 2 episodes into 1883, I'm like, this is kind of the same thing, only more horses and less cars. I'm okay with it because I love Yellowstone. I thought it was a great series, but.
It's like 1883, 1923. It's like those shows. It's like the Costner show, but without the daddy issues.
Right.
The fucking daddy issues. Holy shit!
I bet Costner still wishes he was getting them daddy issue paychecks, so he fucked up leaving that behind.
Well, he got a production credit on the whole series, so he was getting paid anyway. But but whatever.
Yeah, he's trying to make those Horizon. I heard the second Horizon film was going to drop soon.
I haven't seen the first one yet. I haven't gotten around to it.
Really fucking good.
Is it really? It got beat up by some.
I saw the first one and got bored with it.
People don't have attention spans anymore, man.
True.
People don't have attention spans anymore. They just don't.
But
we used to watch DeMille, and we used to watch, films like Ben-Hur and Apocalypse Now, and all these. Now you put something like that out. Oh, this is taking too long. Gotta go. Come on.
Well, I mean, as much as I love the occasional film like Terrifier, where he just walks around and takes people apart for no real reason,
It makes one of us.
There is the occasion where I want something dialogue heavy that really feeds my brain. I just want to take in great speaking, great dialogue, great situational stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like to watch any just one thing. I feel like it gets boring. I would.
Like, do you have 6 hours for Lawrence of Arabia? Do it.
Fuck yeah! I'm making time, man. There's something else I can push off my fucking plate to like watch one of the greatest films of all time, or like the Snyder Cut. Fuck yeah! You know.
Oh yeah, I sat through the whole 4 hours.
You know,
I sat through the whole 4 hours in a theater.
I did too. I did too.
Yeah, you can make the time.
Take a break.
I watched the Snyder Cut twice. The second time in black and white because it looked cool.
Same though.
True.
It's better. It's even better in black and white. I will still say that. I loved it in black and white.
You know what's really good in go ahead, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was bringing it back to Val Kilmer. I was like, you know what? I was like, out of all these movies, I'm like, I'm gonna put like 3 hours aside. I'm gonna fucking watch Heat. That's a great.
That movie is worth every second of viewing.
Perfect film. Another perfect film.
Yeah, right. That's
like I said. I don't know that I would like confidently call it one of the top 10 films of all time.
No,
that's a hard list. There's been so many movies. There's so many movies I haven't seen. It's really hard to say any one movie is in there. But I mean, of my
just look at that poster. Those three guys right there.
My personal top 10 favorites. This is in it by far. And another thing that occurs to me, it's like if I go through my personal list of like top 25 films, my personal favorite top 25, Val Kilmer's in like 5 of them. And there's not anybody. There's not another actor I can think of that is in more than 2. He's.
We should do that one day. Do like a top 20 personal films. Another podcast. It'd be kind of cool.
Oh man,
that'd be. I think it would make more sense if we each did individual videos.
Yeah.
Or you could all pick a top 5 or something. Like I've done some top 5.
I've always got a 5. Yeah.
They take a long time. They do. If you let people, especially if you start talking about them.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Heat is a fantastic movie. Actually, just today before we went live, I was flipping around YouTube and it just happened to pop up in my feed, the bank heist scene from Heat. So I watched it and I was like, Jesus, that's good.
Yeah. Hey, he reloads an M4 like a motherfucker. Like I said, they still like teach that to fucking like Marines and shit like that. That's how you reload the damn gun. It's like he just boom whips that shit up, gets up back over that car, and is just laying lead down the street. It's like, God.
How to push through an ambush. Yeah.
I'm sitting here reading a little bit, and again, this is Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt the size of the Himalayas. About you mentioned earlier, Jeremy, his reputation. It says there Kilmer had a reputation for being difficult to work with and having feuds with some of the actors whom he worked with, notably Island of Dr. Moreau co-star Marlon Brando, and Red Planet and Heat co-star Tom Sizemore. Kilmer's Tombstone co-star Michael Biehn said, quote, "People ask me what it's like to work with Val Kilmer. I don't know. I never met him. I never shook his hand. I know Doc Holliday, but I don't know Kilmer." I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's fair.
Well, he once again, I said, I'm not excusing bad behavior, but when you're acting like that, some people method it. Hell, look at Jared Leto whenever he was playing Joker in Suicide Squad. He was mailing rats to the cast because he thought it was funny. That's what Joker would do. Like when you're method acting, that's what some of these people do. And if that's what it takes to get that Doc Holliday role, don't say a word to that dude. He's Doc Holliday. Val Kilmer's dead. Like it's Val Kilmer. It's Doc Holliday now. So,
I think when you talk about method acting the Joker, I think Heath Ledger still takes the cake. I think Jared Leto was just being
Heath Ledger Joker locking himself in a hotel for 2 weeks, just driving himself nuts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has their process.
I still think that role absolutely killed him, for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Max Schreck in the original Nosferatu, same thing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's you can't question a true artist process because the only way you're going to get that level of greatness is by just letting them cook, as the kids say nowadays. And I mean, that's just the way that it is. You can't. It might not be a traditional way of acting or doing something, but if it produces that kind of results, you don't get in the way of it. You just let it be and go.
I was gonna say, I think that's why The Dark Knight to me is in my top 5 of all time. Is because I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like, you got two method actors bouncing off each other as two of the most iconic like hero and villain team ups, but coming to clashes with each other in Batman and the Joker. I'm like, yeah, you got Bale and Ledger getting into these damn roles, and I'm like, that's why that movie is so.
I still love that. I still love that audio of Christian Bale going off in that EA and on the Terminator.
That's Terminator. It's a bad Terminator movie.
No, I like that Terminator movie. That's one of my maybe my favorite. But I love the way he goes off with it.
Yeah, some more people. Richard Stanley, who directed Kilmer.
I should have been like, well, good for you. How was it?
Richard Stanley, who directed Kilmer for 3 days in the island of Dr. Moreau before being fired, recalled, quote, Val would arrive and an argument would immediately happen. John Frankenheimer, who replaced Stanley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Said,
if you haven't seen the Lost Souls documentary, like, the director of the movie quit, just walked off and left. He puts on he's actually in the film as an extra wearing one of the animal masks. He sneaks back onto the set like sometime later just to see what's going on. So much madness happened here. Yeah. It is nuts. It is crazy.
John Frankenheimer, who replaced him, said, quote, I don't like Val Kilmer. I don't like his work ethic, and I don't want to be associated with him ever again. Batman Forever director Joel Schumacher called Kilmer, quote, childish and impossible. But on the flip side, when Kilmer's At First Sight co-star Mira Sorvino was asked about his reputation as difficult to work with, she responded, quote, you know what? He was really easy to work with. I just hate furthering rumors about people being difficult because it can do enormous damage to their careers. My experience with him was nothing but positive. He was really professional and gentlemanly and a terrific actor. Here's the thing. One of the reasons why I take it with a grain of salt whenever somebody says that this actor was difficult to work with or whatever, blah, blah, blah. We all have people that our personalities don't quite jive with one another. Mm-hmm. Like I have these two friends that I used to work with, several years ago. One Jamie, one Todd, and Jamie and Todd did not get along together. I think both these guys are fantastic guys for different reasons. Their personalities clashed. It's not that either one of these guys were bad guys; they were wrong. Their personalities just didn't work out very well. And I'm still friends with both these guys to this day. They're not sending each other Christmas cards every year for sure, but I don't invite them to the same things. They are kind of different people, but their personalities just didn't clash. And I think in Hollywood, when you're already in a place where personalities can be so dense, thick, I don't know, insert word here to talk about any specific actor. When you're already in a business where personalities clash so heavily, they're so big, they're going to clash. So just because you think a person is difficult to work with doesn't necessarily mean that he is difficult to work with. Maybe you just didn't mesh well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about method actors like him or a Jared Leto or some other people over the course of over the history of film.
Right.
People that take the shit that take anything that seriously can sometimes be kind of off-putting. And when you've got a lot of money involved and there's a lot of tension about is this movie going to be successful or not, if you're making something big like the Batman movie and everything's got to be just right because they're worried about selling toys, they're worried about selling tickets, they're worried about blah, blah, blah. There's a lot on the line, and that raises the tensions that much more, so that makes it more likely that some personalities are going to clash. So, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I hear somebody's hard to work with, I'm just like, he was hard for you to work with. There's probably 10 other people out there that are going to get on the set with this guy, and they're going to make magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that Joel Schumacher apologized for his Batman films till the day he died, he has no leg to stand on for. George Clooney still apologizes to this day. They can't say any of that. Val Kilmer was not the problem in Batman Forever. It was literally, you had Batman adopt a 25-year-old man. And you don't think gay jokes aren't going to happen here? What did you think was going to happen, Warner Brothers? It's a whole mess, but whatever. It's, Val Kilmer wasn't the problem. He was a fine Batman. It was so many other things. It was the toys. It was make a 66. You can't. The reason why Batman Forever doesn't get the same amount of praise as Batman 66 is because Michael Keaton Batman happened in the middle of it and changed the ball game. You can't just put the toothpaste back in the tube. That's why it was so drastically different, and he didn't get received as much. People want the Schumacher cut of all these things. I still don't think that would have been much better, compared to what we did get. He was a fine Batman. Affleck's personally my Batman, but he's not the bottom. That's definitely Clooney. He's on the lower end, I would say, but he was a solid for what he did. So, it's all good.
You know what? For all the hard to work with, whatever. I mean, what somebody will do to get a role, and I've heard stories like this before, but I really like reading this one. Jennifer Tilly, who you guys all know her.
Love her.
She shared a story about auditioning for The Doors alongside Val Kilmer, and this is what she wrote. I think she put this on Instagram or no Twitter. Twix, X, whatever you want to call it nowadays. She goes,
Twix.
a long time
Left
ago,
or
I was
right?
auditioning for the movie The Doors. It was kind of a cattle call. They paired together potential Jims with potential Pamelas, and they were running behind, so we were spilling out of the casting office, sitting on the porch, the lawn, and the driveway. All of a sudden, a 60s convertible comes screeching up, blaring Doors music at top volume, and a guy jumped out and strode inside. He had wild hair, and he was barefoot, shirtless, and wearing nothing but a pair of tight leather pants. We all looked at each other like, who the hell is this guy? We were more than a little shook by the sheer audacity of his entrance. Well, of course, it was Val Kilmer, and from that minute on, nobody stood a chance, she concluded. She said it was over. Val Kilmer ended up landing the leading role in the end, blah, blah, blah.
Was she in that movie?
No, it ended up, Meg Ryan ended up playing Pamela.
Oh,
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly didn't. She wasn't in that.
She wouldn't have been a good Pamela, but she would have been a good, like, groupie or something like that. That would have been awesome.
But yeah, those kinds of stories, I think, when you lose somebody like this, those kinds of stories are one of the ones that are kind of fun because look, a lot of people don't realize even when you've become a bigger name, not necessarily like a superstar, but even when you've had some level of success, you still have to go to casting. You still have to read for roles. You don't just make one good movie and all of a sudden people start throwing scripts at you and saying, "I need you to be in my movie." It's not going to happen like that. So the fact that even after a couple of successes before The Doors, he's still having to go to a casting session to try to land this role. I mean, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. You got to sell yourself. And I've heard a couple of different stories of people like this going into casting sessions, in full
in character.
In characters, stuff like that. It's pretty wild. But
Man, I'd be a hell of an actor with how much cosplay I do. Son of a bitch, I could just walk in here and get a role.
Damn right.
God damn.
Just make sure to make go find a casting call for a horror movie and just dig yourself up with all kinds of blood.
So you can say,
and be like,
can I just be in horror movies? I just want to be a horror villain for the rest of my life. I'm not asking for anything else. Just that's it. That's all I want to do.
I'd love to just
I'm
be
not
like
hard
a
to
Greg
please.
Nicotero, just be a guy who does the makeup and shit and the effects, like just behind the scenes.
If I ever get rich, I'm opening my own horror studio. I'm telling you right now, that's the one thing I'm doing. I don't care if I ever make money. I just want to I want to have enough money to live happy and make the movies that I want to see for the rest of my life. That's what I'm doing.
But real quick before we start to wrap this thing up and I get you guys' final thoughts, I want to ask you guys, have you seen the Amazon documentary about Val Kilmer?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
I have not.
So damn good.
It's good.
It's narrated by his son, Jack. And if you did not know it was being narrated by his son, Jack, you would think it was him. He sounds dead ass like a young Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I actually had to look it up. I thought maybe they had messed with his voice a little bit in post to try to make him sound more like his dad. No, he sounds like him. Because there was like some behind the scenes stuff of him doing the voiceover, the narration. It sounds dead ass like him. It is a phenomenal look at his life and career. One of the things I found interesting that I learned through this documentary is he was vlogging before anybody knew what vlogging was. He had like his entire career, he had taken a camera with him on set and was like recording his co-stars behind the scenes, having fun, talking, stuff like that. There's behind the scenes footage of him on the set of Tombstone talking with like Kurt Russell and all the guys. There's behind the scene footage of him on almost all of his films. And he was vlogging before vlogging was a thing. He did, from what it said in the documentary, he didn't really know why he was doing it. He just wanted to remember the experience. He just wanted to kind of like get it on tape. It was important to him just to be on the set and to be this creative person. And it's such a tremendously good documentary. And I watched it a couple times a while back. I watched it a second time because it was just so good. And I was really hoping to try to get a chance to watch it again before we did this, but unfortunately, I just didn't have time. But I will at some point in the next week or so sit down and watch this again because it talks about his life, his career, and like I said, if you watch this, you will think what I said early on in this broadcast, that there is nothing else in the universe that he was made to do. He couldn't have been a doctor. He couldn't have been a lawyer. He could have been. He'd have been good at them too, I think. But I feel like that of the handful of people in this world that have been put exactly where they should be in the universe at exactly the right time, Val Kilmer may have been one of those people. This was just what his existence was leading up to. And it's a fantastic documentary. If you guys haven't seen it, you really should, especially now. Celebrate his life by going and watching this. Narrated by his son. Fantastically done. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen in a long, long time about a real person.
All right.
You like to say something, Werewolf? Sorry, that's what I was trying to wrap my head.
No, I mean, we should all be so lucky, to have our cards, fucking play out that way. You take chances and see what happens, and it worked out for him, and I'm grateful. Of a lot of his movies out there, small parts, big parts. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember hearing about that. Sean Young tried it for Batman Returns, even stalked Tim Burton dressed as Catwoman, and arguably finished her career. To be absolutely honest, I think Sean Young was having a lot of problems at that point anyway.
Yeah.
I really because she's dealt with a lot of alcoholism and stuff like that over the course of her life. She's been in and out of rehab. I think she's been doing well of late. I don't really know, but yeah, she's another actress that, God, she could have been fantastic through the 90s. But for some reason, some of her personal demons kind of kept her from becoming that. She's been in some great films, some films that I've really liked. Yeah. But one film that we're gonna do eventually, I keep trying to put on the schedule and stuff keeps getting in the way. But damn it, we're gonna do Real Genius at some point. This is one of my favorite fucking movies. This is the movie that this is what Big Bang Theory could have been had it been on HBO instead of like whatever the hell, CBS, wherever hell was on. This was like the better version of Big Bang Theory from the 80s. It's such a fun movie. William Atherton is the bad guy. Come on, when you have William Atherton as the bad guy in an 80s movie, you're already one step ahead. You're already one step ahead. And then of course you have Val Kilmer, who is so great anyway in this movie. Again, a great supporting cast, but the movie's just funny as hell. We're going to do it eventually. Every time I try to do it, some shit comes up, and I end up having to push it back. But I'm going to do it, damn it. I still have my show notes typed out for it and everything. I'm going to do it, damn it. But yeah, I mean, Top Secret and Real Genius were his first two big films that really made him the star. And it was after Real Genius that he ended up getting the role of Iceman in Top Gun, and that is by far
the rest is history.
Yeah, that is by far the movie that shot him into the stratosphere, and that's where his full-on leading man career started, was with that movie. But he's so good at everything. But let me go around and get some final thoughts from you guys. I'll start with you, Jeremy. Some final thoughts about the life and career of Val Kilmer.
Yeah, as we talked, even just for an hour and a half about it, man, there's a lot to be absorbed here with his career. Like we said. Maybe bring up an IMDb page or just go look at some stuff or go rewatch something. If you've already seen some of his movies, just go back and enjoy it. Or like some of the ones that we mentioned here tonight that I've never seen or heard of. I mean, what else could you ask for? Like with this guy who, like we said, he had that gift, man. He had a way of being, and talk about the range. You want to talk about from goofy stuff like that to more serious stuff. So, it always sucks losing somebody that gave us that much to look back on. But yeah, it's always too soon. But man, that's what we do this channel for. It's like just go enjoy movies. Just go back and watch some stuff that Val Kilmer's done, man, and you're not going to regret it. Trust me.
And how about you, Werewolf? Give me your final thoughts on the life and career of Val Kilmer.
Like I said, in those 80s and 90s, I mean, there were very few people that were bigger, for the types of movies that we watched, and then, to break out, to be directed by Oliver Stone or to be directed by Michael Mann, and then, to do the Tombstone movie, in the 90s, that was probably there were few actors that were hotter, and like I said at the beginning, if you saw them in a film, you knew it was going to be good. Oh, the new Val Kilmer movies. Okay. I'm going to go catch that. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. I own quite a few movies of his. I'll probably end up picking up some more, but yeah, what a career. We should all be so lucky. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching Heat this weekend, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Tex, how about you? Give me your final thoughts on the life and career of Val Kilmer.
Yeah, people may die, but legends are never forgotten. And so many things that Kilmer has done here within his life. I mean, if for nothing but just Doc Holliday alone, he within that one role permeated cultures of. I can go to gun shops right now, and there will be a T-shirt with like a outline of his face, hat and mustache that says "I'm your Huckleberry" on the back of it. People still buy these things. What he's done with so many roles, of course, Batman, so many things, from small to big roles. He was a movie star, and now he's gone on to the next plane of existence. So thank you for what you gave us, and thoughts and prayers to the family.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say right now that we haven't touched on already. All I will tell you is go watch the documentary on Amazon. It's a really great representation of his life and career, who he was as a person. That's all I can really say. And one of the things that when something like this happens, I'll go on Twitter, and one of the things I always say is thank you for sharing your gift with us. And that's all I can really say about Val Kilmer. Is thank you for sharing your gift with us. Thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for being that one crazy smile every now and again that lightened up the day. Thank you for all that. There's a large catalog of movies you can just go watch him do his thing, and maybe you'll like the movie, maybe you won't, but you're gonna like Val Kilmer. And I swear to God, this scene hits so much harder now. It's like. Like
I said, I hadn't even seen the movie, and that fucking made me emotional.
That 6 and 8, that even for my cold heart, whenever I watched that interaction with them, I felt like a bump that day. So, if it tells you anything, Jeremy, it got me. So, it was
good. That scene.
I'll probably be bawling like a bitch by the time I should get them.
It was, yeah. I mean, because you're taking the real life stuff of what happened to Val Kilmer and putting it into Iceman. You can't watch that scene and not do it, but it's heavy, man. It's legit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, what can you say about this man? The movies that he's been in. I mean, go pick any of these movies and hit play, and you're gonna be given some artistic shit, man. I mean, this guy was an artist. This guy was one of the greats. One of these days, they're going to make an actual Hall of Fame. He's got 3 examples right there. That's 3 of 30 or 40 examples. I don't know how many movies he made over the course of his career, but just 3 examples of fantastic artistry and great acting work. But I mean, what can we say? Go watch the documentary. Go watch a movie. I mean, we're only on this earth for a finite period of time, and some of us will leave our mark on celluloid. Some people won't. And if he left his mark on celluloid somewhere, so go be touched by his brilliance, by his efforts. Thanks to my Casey. Here's your shout out. Go watch Casey if you want to watch somebody play side scrollers for 4 or 5 hours. But his link is.
You don't need a shout out. You need shock therapy and fat camp is what you need.
I play real video games here. Okay.
I couldn't find my shirt. I wanted to wear it tonight, but the shirt that he wears in Real Genius, the I Love Toxic Waste shirt, that is actually on our merch store. I made a I Love Toxic Waste shirt that's got the Harsh Truth logo in the heart. You can go buy one of these shirts at the merch store. So yeah, that's one of the first ones that I threw together that I really liked. Well, I want to make more that are kind of movie inspired. I'll get around to it eventually. I've got a lot going on right now, but I will get around to it eventually. But yeah, go check out one of those shirts because I really like mine. It's even a 3/4 sleeve baseball shirt, which I actually love those shirts. But yeah, so go buy one of those in honor of Val Kilmer. Probably will do a different outro tonight. I feel like a moment of silence is probably the right thing to do right now. So thanks to my amazing co-host for showing up as always. I'll start with you, Jeremy. Where can the folks want to find you, my friend?
I had a really cool idea, and I totally forgot to do it. Damn it. Tex gave me that popcorn bucket. That was the bat signal. I should have just been like, there you go.
You mean this one right here? You mean that one, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I would turn on the bat signal, but the batteries are burned out.
hell, it's somewhere. There's like 2 Batman posters right next to me in the corner, but you get the point.
I got us covered. Don't worry, we're fine.
All right. So I'm. Are we doing the where am I at on the internet?
Yeah.
And
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I'm here, losing my mind slowly, because the amount of people that think Die Hard's a Christmas movie just melts my brain and my IQ a little more every time I hear it. So I don't give into that. Yeah, that's I don't know what we're doing next, but I think I got surprised by hearing that the Minecraft movie comes out this weekend, and I was just like,
Really?
oh, okay,
Well.
interesting. I don't know. I wasn't keeping tabs on it. I was just like, someone's like, oh, Minecraft comes out this weekend. I was like, I was morbidly curious, but I wasn't like going out of my way to see it. But I don't know. I might do that, but I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to. I'm gonna hate a movie so much more if I watch a Val Kilmer movie this weekend and then go try to watch that. So that
maybe save the Val Kilmer movie for afterwards.
I'll need like I need like a palate,
yeah.
a palate cleanser after watching that fucking fever dream. Look, I went and watched Borderlands because I hate myself. I don't know why I did that, but maybe it won't be as bad as that, but who knows? That's what I'm doing, and I don't do anything else because my capture card is sitting right here. So, oh hey, there's that Batman cup that Tex gave me, so I've got Batman somewhere.
There you go.
There we go. I'm sure his is on here somewhere.
I had to hunt that motherfucker down.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna find a good place for it. Believe me. Oh, there it is. Yeah, right there. There's Batman forever.
And there's the bucket that goes with it.
Life might be finite, but Batman is forever.
And to my good friend, the American Werewolf, New Jersey, what's going on your channel, my friend?
You can find me at YouTube at American Werewolf. Let's see. This weekend I'm going to be catching more of season 5 of The Chosen. So I'm going to wait till the whole season completes and then post a review of the entire season after that, which happens not this Friday, but next Friday. The season will complete. They're airing like 3 episodes at a time on the big screen. So I'm looking forward to that. For the live streams, next Wednesday, we'll be touching on Barry Levinson's Young Sherlock Holmes. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a fun movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Favorite of mine. And then the week after that, we'll be touching on David Fincher's Zodiac, which is actually my favorite. That's my favorite movie. Fincher film. I think it's better than Seven. I think it's way scarier.
Long ass movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's real. Those are real things that happen. So I'm looking forward to getting into both of those. And that's what we'll be up to.
The link to his channel is in the description of all the videos. Go check him out. Go check all the great film YouTubers out that we've come in contact with. Night Watch, all those folks. Great content coming out of all these channels. So go give them some love as well. They're fantastic people. In the Shameful Lone Star State, my man Tex, where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Oh, well, this weekend I will be at theaters, not watching Jack Black and play fucking Minecraft. I will not be doing that.
You're a smart man.
Well, I don't know how smart. Don't hold your judgment. There is it's called Hell of a Summer, and it's a 80s slasher summer camp movie made by Finn Wolfhard. So once again, he can only do stuff in the 80s. So
I said I'll eat my fucking hat. That kid ever does something that's not related to the fucking 80s. It's pissing me off.
I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple horror reviewers that said it was more camp and comedy, and they were disappointed. But I've already used an AMC Plus ticket stub for it, so I'm going. It's fine. I'll let you know if it's any good or not, but low expectation. But tomorrow night on Shudder and AMC Plus, Joe Bob is back, The Last Drive-In, and it's Slasher Week. So don't know what they're showing, but got to, pimp out my boy Joe Bob. So go check him out.
As for me, you'll find me back here on Tuesday with the gang. We're going to get back into the horror well. We're going to do the movie Clown, which it was between Clown and Stitches that I was trying to decide on for the last time we did Stitches. We did Stitches, which was funny but not great horror.
Clown is better.
Horror. Yeah, everybody. I've heard a lot of people say Clown is better, so we're gonna do Clown, and then next week we will pick up Thursday. We'll pick up with the review we were planning on doing tonight for Runaway Jury. I do want to do that one as well because this is a very good movie. And then after that, Jeremy, we're getting close. Episode 1, Last of Us Season 2.
Season 2, baby. You guys aren't ready.
I'll be on those reviews when Pedro gets a golf club. That's when I'll do a live special. Until then, I'm busy. But
I read the artist from the art. It's not that fucking deep.
I mean, yeah. I'm interested, but thanks you guys for coming and hanging out. I very much appreciate it. Thanks to my amazing co-host for being so wonderful. Go watch American Werewolf. Always great to have you on, my man. Every time we can get together and do a video, I'm very, very happy. You're a good dude. I like you a lot. Go check out his channel again. He puts on some great stuff out there, so go check him out. And again, we'll see you guys next time. Until then, let's have a moment of silence for a fallen actor, one that we really appreciated. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next time.